Hey guys, hello. Welcome to the third episode for the podcast that I'm doing for forensic science. Right, it's already been 3 episodes. Wow, that's crazy. I remember when I first started the project. It was about, like almost like a month and a half ago. It was really cool, crazy. But a couple of things first. So about me, current life update. To be honest, I haven't really been doing anything much. I've just been focusing a lot more on my classes. I know that for the past few weeks, although I don't really like to admit it, the past few weeks I've just been a little bit. I've been taking it easy, maybe a little bit too easy. I've been slacking off on a couple of my work. Um, on a couple of my assignments though, but not too much, right? But still, because finals are um, because finals are coming up soon. I want to be just a little bit more studious with my work. I actually want to start taking it a little bit more seriously. Because, like I said, I was trying to take it really easy this semester. But now I actually want to start focusing a lot more. Because, like I said, finals are coming up, so I want to study more. And I actually want to pass on my classes this time. I am passing on my classes, but I want to just end the semester really well, I hope. So, um, let's get into the meat and potatoes of the video. Okay, so what I'm going to do is similarly to the last podcast episode, I'm going to get a module that I thought was very interesting to me or that stood out to me, and then I'm going to provide you guys with a famous crime that connects back to that module, and then a current event to go with it. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, let me see. So the module that I had chosen this time was actually the module that we're doing right now, which is module 5. It stood out to me for a lot of reasons. I thought that module 5 it was actually one of the most engaging modules that I've actually, or that we've done so far. I think one of my favorites has to be the most recent one, the distracted driving discussion. I thought that was really cool, because it's as you said, right? How um, or it was just more of trying to convey the idea that texting and driving is really bad, and of course, I think most of us can attest to this. I think that's really bad as well, but it was really cool to actually put that into practice, right? So I thought it was nice having to listen to the conversation, but while also focusing on the road. And if you focus on the conversation, you can't focus on the road, and if you focus on the road, you can't focus on the conversation, or vice versa. Or sorry, yeah, but vice versa. Um, I think that goodness, the score that I got not that good of a score actually. I know that for the one that had me for the first, for the first one in this I guess or in the activity for the Are You a Focused Driver. I remember I didn't do too well. I found her accent kind of hard to understand, but yeah, I couldn't remember how many goodness, what was it, how many items there were that I had to remember. But I was able to remember the names of it for some reason, but just not the number of items. But then for the second one, I did a little bit better, but yeah, it's just not as much as I wanted to, because I was pretty confident that I was able to get all of it well, because I do drive a lot. It's just driving is a part of my job, so I thought that I'd be able to at least do a little bit better than I did. But it didn't happen, and that's okay. I did learn a lot during this activity. Truly, there were a lot of good statistics and a lot of quotes that I found at the end of the activity that I thought were pretty cool. It also really reinforced the idea that I guess texting and driving is really bad, and here's why, and this is why, and stuff like that. And especially having to identify the hazard. I remember I believe it was the second portion of the activity, you had to identify the hazard and stuff. And yeah, and you did it as listen to our conversation, and then you did it while just focusing on the road. And yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Another one that was actually a part of this module was the one about, oh goodness, I believe it was assignment 9 that was due on Halloween Day. That one had us revolve around a crime had been committed, and then we had to use our social deduction skills, and we had to look at I guess like witnesses statements and stuff like that, and then had to like take a look at the case overall. I thought that was really cool. I thought it was like perhaps like the best way to actually get experience in like true like detective skills and stuff like that. Because it was really like of course like not all cases are gonna be this simple and this straightforward, but um it was really cool. Like everything was like laid out for us and stuff, and it was not too hard to find out who committed it. But it was also really cool to like exercise your thinking power because it says, oh, okay, well, goodness, I don't remember the names, but if person A is over here doing this, but person B does not like to be with cats, and person A doesn't like perfume and stuff like that, it's like you use what you know to find out what you don't know, which I think was really cool, and I think it's a really great example of how actual detectives work. I'm not too sure. I'm not like a detective or a cop or anything, but from what I've seen, like media and stuff like that, and like how it's represented, is that oh well, a like detective will get all the clues to the case, right? It's just like getting like it all connects like a jigsaw piece. So, um, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool, and, and like I said, it was the one that stood out the most to me. So yes, I thought it was pretty cool. Okay, so moving on to the famous crime. So the famous crime I have today is, and that is the crime of the Great Train Robbery of 1963. So a basic overview of what happened during this crime is that it was basically around 17 full members, including the famous Bruce Reynolds, and it was basically like a train heist essentially. So apparently the Royal Mail train that was heading from Glasgow to London on the West Coast Main Line, which is the train line that like pertains to that area. Um, it was moving there, and it was essentially robbed for 2.61 million British pounds. And the reason that I chose this one, well, of course, like the train robbers did get caught, uh, uh, right? But the reason that I went ahead and I chose this one was because it has a very famous car attached to it. So essentially, what had happened was that the ringleader, which was Bruce Reynolds, drove a very cool looking 1963 Ford Lotus Cortina. And uh, essentially, um, this is like the getaway car, right? So, whereas like, because like most of his accomplices were arrested, right? But because he had this car, because he had like this Ford Cortina, I'm sorry, this Ford Lotus Cortina as his getaway vehicle, all of his accomplices were caught and arrested, right? But then Reynolds was able to escape, and then he was able to like live in Mexico, and then like live in Canada, and then like even in France, right? Before he went to Britain to work again, thinking that like the heat was off of him. But then he finally got brought to justice, and he died 10 years in prison before he was actually released. But it was pretty cool because of the car. It pertains back to what we were talking about with like the distracted driving and stuff like that. I thought that well, it was basically just because like it had also mentioned the car. But you see, like I think that, but also a lot of detectives and a lot of people are working on this case because it was such like a large sum of money that was taken. They worked out like hard on this case, and I know that they were using a lot of like deductive reasoning, a lot of social like deduction to be able to find him because he was able to evade capture for a long time, a pretty long time. He was able to go to Canada, France, and Mexico, and like be like traveling from each of his homes and stuff like that. So yeah, like that also ties back because of the activity that we did on the distracted driving, and as well as the activity that we did on the um, like deductive reasoning game, which was all very cool. So moving on to the final portion of the podcast episode for today, guys, is that of the of the current event. So the current event that I have for you guys today is that this goes on to this is of November 8th, so not even a few days ago, 4 days ago, I believe. So it basically says that a genealogy, sorry, um, genealogy identifies skeletonized remains of a gunshot victim found in 1980. So essentially, what had happened was that a gunshot victim, his name was Lonnie Raymond Thomas, and he was 20 years old at the time of his death. He was essentially shot in the area of Tonra Canyon, Uh, and the case remained like because he was like abandoned and stuff like that. He was unable to be identified because he was not identified in time. So he was just bones by the time they got to him. Um, However, what had happened was that throughout like the use of like current technology, because 1980 is what, almost 40 years ago already. Jeez, jeez. 40 years ago, with the technology that we have now, we're able to do like a genealogy, uh, or I'm sorry, investigative genetic genealogy. Goodness, investigative genetic genealogy that was able to successfully identify him as like an actual living person, which I thought was really cool. I know that like there are like a lot of like victims and a lot of people who died are just left there to be forgotten. But it's really cool that at least someone, or at least like the technology is being developed so that way we can find these people and we can actually identify them and give them proper rites, proper burials, and things of that nature. So I thought that was pretty cool. Um, but yes, as of now, I believe that's everything that I have to talk about. I'm already at, goodness me, I'm at a lot of time. I went over the time, but I had a lot to talk about and I had a lot of fun doing it. But yes, guys, I'm really excited. Thank you guys so much again for coming to the third episode. I'm really glad you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to the next one. I believe the next one is the final one, which I'm very excited for. But thank you guys so much. Okay, bye.